Okay, everyone, it's me, Mavis freaking Meadows. It's another great day in Thailand. That means it's another great day to live life and hit the gym. So I just came back from school. That's when my hair is like so cute and this little scrunchy. Anyways, shut the freak up. We're going to the gym to train hamstrings and glutes. And the gym just got a new renovation, new addition, new floor, a whole section dedicated to glutes. Like a dream come true. Living in Thailand, going to the gym with a floor dedicated to just glutes. Like, so great. So great and so grateful and thankful. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Anyways, we're going to train glutes and hamstrings, and we're going to try all of the new equipment. Okay, well, maybe not all, because the guy showed me like 3 different types of hip thrusts. They have a standing hip thrust. I've never seen that at a commercial gym. I've never been to a gym where they have a standing hip thrust. I know it sounds kind of corny and cliche to geek over this, but I met the owner the other day, and he's showing me all these things, and I'm literally geeking at him and like having this 30-minute long conversation about all these different gym equipment that he got. Okay, and there's a bunch of different glute kickback machines. I'm not the big glute kickback. I do think that they help with the lifted look in your glutes, but they're not going to grow your glutes as a whole. They'll grow just the top portion, but we're trying to grow everything, right? So maybe not the best exercise for growth, but those are still always fun and like good to put into your program. I'm so excited. If you can't tell. Whew. Let me just stop freaking out. I'm really so excited. I'm going to set up my camera. I'm going to start filming. I hope it's just not like super packed at that one section because it's the new section that's opening today. But the one and only Ronnie Coleman is here to stay and slay with us as we go train glutes. But yeah, it's been a good day so far. Let's continue to make it a great day. Let's train hard. And yeah, I'll see you guys at the gym. Alright, starting off strong with a new cable kickback machine. I've only ever done cable kickbacks when it's attached to a larger cable machine, but this was one dedicated for cable kickbacks. It's slightly up off the floor about 2 inches, so you can really put your foot all the way through and kick all the way back without having to touch your foot on the floor. Unfortunately, you can't see it here, but that's what that motion is. You could have also done it to the side because the space in the middle is large enough for your foot to go through, and then these handles at the front were really helpful for stability. As I mentioned before, cable kickbacks should not be your dominant glute growth lift. Like, you shouldn't be looking to grow your glutes all that much with these movements. I started my glute day with these movements to isolate my glutes and start warming them up. Your more compound lifts should be some sort of squat variation, some sort of hip hinge variation, meaning a glute, an RDL or a hip thrust variation, and then any kind of lunging movement. In this glute and hamstring focus workout today, I have 2 of those because we're isolating our glutes and hamstrings. It's not solely a glute focus workout. If it was solely a glute focus workout, I would have those 3 dominant lifts forefront in my lift, and it would be the most emphasis on those 3 lifts. What you're going to see today is 2 separate variations of a hip hinge, because I was trying out the new machines at this gym, and then a hamstring focused lying hamstring curl. When we train glutes, it's very important to remember to train with intensity and train till failure. Although you're only doing cable kickbacks and it might just be a warm-up activity for you to start isolating your glutes and getting them warm, we're still training with intensity and pushing till failure. I did like this machine. It felt good. Not the greatest kickback machine. I've had another machine where you kind of rest your elbows on it and then you kick up and backwards. They also have that here. Unfortunately, I did not try that today, but I will try that for you in the future. Moving on now to our compound lift. So we have a hip hinge here, i.e. some sort of glute hip thrust machine. I have never used this hip thrust machine. It's kind of like a half Smith machine, half glute bridge machine. To get into this, I felt so awkward. You can kind of see me at the beginning being like, how do I even put my feet on here? And then the backrest. The backrest was, and I'm used to a stationary bench, so this was definitely very different for me. It took me a while to get comfortable with how it's supposed to feel and really feeling the stretch in my glutes. With that being said, I think I got the hang of it by positioning myself low, like my traps and upper shoulders lower down on the pad than anticipated, because when you push up, you actually become more upright, if that makes any sense. So before you actually start the movement, I would advise going a little bit down, more down than you would think, and then you'll be in a proper position at the fullest part of extension at the top of your lift. Editing this video back and watching myself get in and out of this machine is actually hilarious. The glute section, like anticipated, was very busy because, again, the glute section literally opened today and anyone wanted to try all the new equipment. So I felt so uncomfortable just getting in and out of this machine I felt like everybody was watching, but I feel like also people didn't also know how to use a lot of the equipment. I could sense a little bit of hesitation from everyone, or just some sort of curiosity. People would come in, peek their heads around the corner just to see what kind of new equipment that they had in, and then just leave. But I was very self-conscious of getting in and out of this machine specifically. But with that being said, did it stop me from lifting heavy, training till failure, and really feeling the stretch in my glutes? No, absolutely not. This is a better angle. I feel like you can really see the full extension here. And then the final clip of me doing these hip thrusts, you can see like some really good glute definition and glute lines. So I was pretty happy and pretty stoked about that watching these clips back. I'm super excited to keep training with all this new equipment. Again, I only tried about 3 new pieces of equipment. There were so many. I really am so excited to see what kind of growth is going to come from all this new equipment. But with that in mind, you do not need all this fancy equipment to grow your glutes. Like I said, to grow your glutes, you're going to need 3 things: some sort of squatting movement, some sort of hip hinge movement, and some sort of lunging movement. And if those are in your program and are a staple week by week, by adding more weight, progressively overloading every week, you are going to see results. One caveat: you need to be eating in a surplus. In order to grow any type of muscle, you need to be eating in a surplus. You cannot be in a calorie deficit and think that you're going to grow your glutes. So by eating just a little bit more and training with intensity with those 3 movements in mind, glute growth will come. We need to be patient. I thought that all this growth was going to come within 3 to 6 months. Little did I know, I'm still trying to grow, and I'm nowhere near my full potential yet, or where I want my physique goals to be. But that's the beauty of bodybuilding, is that we can see our physiques change over time with the amount of work we put in. So I'm maintaining my patience. I know I'm going to get there because I have the staples in place and all the inputs are there that need to happen in order for me to see growth. So it's only a matter of time. Check it out. The standing adduction machine. Alright, so I've never used one of these before. Again, feeling very weird and very self-conscious doing these machines. But is that going to stop me from trying new things? Absolutely not. So, the first couple clips, I'm standing a little bit more upright. what I learned after, as the owner, you'll see him in the next clip, come over to me. He instructed me to squat way more down, where we're more perpendicular, 90 degrees with our legs to the ground. Okay, I originally thought that yes, that's what you're supposed to do, but I was feeling the most massive burn in my quads, and I'm like, I'm doing this wrong. This has to be wrong. If I'm feeling it in my quads and not in my upper like glute med. But I think that's the point, and I think I just have to get more comfortable with being uncomfortable. So holding it in that position, lowest down, like lower than you think, and doing adductions there. Of course, using the bars in front of you to help stabilize and hold yourself up. Yeah, so in this clip, I'm still very much upright. This still burned, of course, but we're trying to do the most optimal form. Again, this was my first time using this machine, so I'm very grateful that he did come over and tell me how to use it properly, because I appreciate any advice. I'm only about 2 years, almost 2 years into my bodybuilding journey and training bodybuilding style. So I'm always open for critiques, feedback, and anything like that, because once you close yourself off to say, oh, I know everything, that's when you're going to stop growing, that emotionally, physically, and mentally. That is when you're going to cap yourself off. When you say, I can't learn anything else, that's when the fun stops, in my opinion. I'm literally standing up to take a break because my quads are on fire, and I'm only feeling my glute medius a minor bit, maybe 30%, and then 70% in my quads, which was obviously not the point. So I'm taking his cue. I'm going farther down into a 90 degrees position with my knees, and then adducting like that. Honestly, watching these clips back, I'm really proud of myself with the form correction, because my butt is not moving up or down any longer, and it really looks like I could be sitting down. So props to me, very happy. I'm excited to try more of these machines. There we go, and like I said, we have our hamstring movement of the day is a lying hamstring curl. You've seen these before, nothing really new to report on, but we need to have some sort of hamstring volume because I'm trying to grow my legs as a whole. So really feeling the stretch on the way down, holding, squeezing. One of the cue I really like for these is driving my hips into the pad. So you're not wanting your hips to come off the pad as you're lowering the weight. It's squeezing and pushing, driving your hips down into the pad on the way up. So now, one of the most anticipated machines I've been wanting to try for so long, the standing hip thrust machine. I did have higher hopes for this, but I'm going to try it more times before I give it my final and honest review. I found it kind of difficult to get into, and I kept having to adjust my t-shirt and shorts because every time I would thrust up, both of them would be pulled down by the pads on the rest of my body. So again, I'm super open to any kind of critique or suggestion on how to better work this machine, but you'll see I'm literally trying to pull my t-shirt down or get it out from being stuck underneath the pads every single time. But other than that, I did feel the contraction on the way up, and I felt it most on the way down. It felt that really hip hinge movement, like I'm really driving my hips back to the end of the room and not down, if that makes sense. So I really focused on going down slow and then squeezing at the top. Down slow and squeezing at the top. Again, this was a very awkward machine to get into, so I was a little self-conscious. Luckily, the glute section had died down a bit after this, so there wasn't too many people. But you'll see me again trying to readjust like my feet and thighs, trying to get the proper adjustment for this attachment, like the barbell part of the machine, and then again my t-shirt. But anyways, this probably maybe just I'm doing it wrong. I'm definitely going to keep trying this because I really want this to work, and I'm trying to grow these glutes. So to have another hip thrust variation in my arsenal would not be a bad thing. Anyways, enjoy these last couple clips of the last movement from today, and then stick around for a pump check because it's freaky and fun. As promised, here is the freaky pump check. So I haven't done a physique check in a while. I just been kind of leaving the gym immediately, but the mirrors were set up nice, the lighting was doing me nice, and I just got a nice pump from all these new equipment, so I had to do a little physique check, and I was pleasantly surprised. I know, and I have work to do, and that could be a lot of self-criticism coming in here, but I'm really excited and happy with the shape that I'm producing. Now it's more about putting on the muscle density and muscle size. I'm really striving for that, but I also, like I said, I am young in my bodybuilding journey, so the density will come with time, and that's a little bit not frustrating, but just something I know in the back of my head, so I can actually work harder at that. I just kind of have to be patient with that. So tomorrow is a rest day, and then I'm filming some teacher stuff for you guys. You'll be able to see that. And the following day is a quad focused leg day, with of course we're hitting some glutes in there, because what's a good leg day without glutes? I don't know. But anyways, hope you stick around for that, and I'll see you at those videos. See you.